first of all, let me just ask you a question. Who does he look like? Any resemblance to another character, perhaps?
Indiana Jones?
Yeah, I was watching the scene and like he could have played Indiana Jones.
Welcome back to Two Guys in a Movie, episode 4. Glad you're with us. We've gone through 3 weeks of this stuff now for season 2, and we're back with a new movie. Paul's pick. What did you pick for this week, Paul?
So today's movie, or tonight's movie, whenever you're watching this, I picked one of my all-time, my favorite movie of William Friedkin, and one of my favorite movies from the 70s. From 1977, we have Sorcerer that just came out on 4K UHD from Criterion. You've got it too. I've got the Blu-ray as well, except mine's a digital book.
Oh,
and there's
fancy.
something a little extra special in this one, I believe, that's not in yours. So I'm going to share.
Probably. This is nothing on it. Just
in
the
a
movie.
bit. But yeah, so same routine as always, right? We're gonna first I'm gonna give some bad reviews because those are always fun to read off, and then we'll discuss the movie.
Well, what the heck is Sorcerer? Is it wizards?
No. No, and we're going to discuss that a little bit later about the name, and a couple of reasons why we think it failed as it did. But first, let's talk a little bit about the plot, real briefly here, and then we'll get more into it. Sorcerer is based on Henry George's Clouseau's, I can't pronounce his name, sorry. The Wages of Fear novel about a group of men driving a truckload of nitroglycerin through the winding jungle roads to extinguish an oil well. That's just a very brief summary of what it is. Just a real tease. I'm going to show something at the end of this video that I thought of when I saw Roy Schreider in this movie, but I'll show it later at the end of this video. You want to get into some of the bad reviews now, or you want to wait?
Yeah, I want to see. No, it wasn't a big hit. I mean, it wasn't a big box office hit or anything like that. So I'm wondering what the reviews were like.
So I couldn't really find much reviews from back then outside of just critics, and the critics loved it. It was one of those. It was a critical hit, darling, but it was a box office bomb, and I'm guessing, I'm not sure, but I'm guessing that it just didn't hit right with audiences at the time, which again, we're going to discuss a little bit later, because, there are some big reasons why this movie failed. But these are some reviews that are more recent, modern day, from people that have seen it. 1 star. Seriously? Sorcerer sucked. It's meaningless plot that went nowhere. A hobbled-together waste of time intro of 2 flat, unbelievable characters to explain why they end up in the jungle. Not that their specific presence has any relevance to the movie at all, or transporting nitroglycerin. It's just a bad movie that did not age well, making it a blank movie, except for the creation of the piss... That doesn't make sense. He says, except for the creation of the piss-poor jungle, which was well done. Well, if it's well done, then why is it piss-poor?
The creation of the jungle, they shot on location.
Right. 1 star. I saw this recently because Tarantino liked it. The script, though, does not work. Great director, good actors, lots of money, poor pacing, and the second half of the film makes no sense at all. I don't agree with any of these reviews.
Yeah, I mean, the only part that I a little bit agree with is the beginning. That's it, though. I mean, saying the second half is boring, it's like, are you not watching the movie?
Yeah, it's when I was reading these reviews, it's one of those movies where I'm like, did we watch the same movie? I mean, are they
Are those
watching
from Letterboxd or just online or
Rotten Tomatoes?
Rotten Tomatoes? Okay.
What's interesting, though, about Rotten Tomatoes is that this is one of the rarities where both the critical score and audience score are the same. They both have an 83% score, which is pretty good. Now the good reviews, I'm not going to just read it all out because I honestly forgot to look it up or to save them. But basically, the good reviews are saying that it's one of Friedkin's best. The acting is superb, and then of course they always talk about the bridge scene.
Yeah.
And which is the one scene that everyone always talks about. It's probably the most memorable scene of the movie. But yeah, I honestly couldn't find a lot of bad reviews. It was just those few, which was nice. And again, it makes me wonder: did they actually watch the movie?
Right. I'm wondering that same thing.
I was curious. How many times have you seen this?
Twice.
And this time was the second time.
This is for this show was the second time. Well, no, sorry, this third time. Yes, this is the third time, and the first time, honestly, has been the best time.
Really?
Yeah, for me.
Yeah, there was a lot more that I picked up on the second time or this time around. I mean, I've seen it a few times.
There was.
Hold on, I'm trying to click.
Yeah, there's a point where I feel like the movie could have benefited from like maybe 10 minutes shorter in the beginning. For me, like I don't know, they take their time like building these 4 characters, which there's some payoff for that later. But once you get into the second half and the third act, I mean, it's just it flies, and you're on the edge of your seat. Everything's practical, and that's what I love about William Friedkin's movies. Like it's a Friedkin movie because it's like he comes from that documentary style, and he brought that to the narrative style and kind of that collision
100%.
of styles like realism and grittiness. And Sorcerer is a prime example. For me, it still holds up. Like the bridge scene, it's remarkable that
it's incredible
that even exists. I don't even know if they could pull it off today.
Oh, there's no way.
Like insurance-wise, everything.
There is no way they could do that today. I don't know if you watched any of the special features on the Criterion, but they include it's called William Friedkin Uncut. It's from 2018. It's like an hour and 45 minutes. And they spent a lot of time talking about Sorcerer, but also the other movies. But they talked about the bridge scene. Well, let's just get into it. The bridge scene, they talk about it. And William Friedkin even said himself, there's no way in hell he would be able to do this. Even in the 90s, he doesn't think he'd been able to do it. The 70s, he said that no one gave a shit, is what he said.
Yeah.
And studios weren't afraid to make risks. He even said that the president because this was a Universal picture originally, and Sid Seigman, was that his name? I don't remember. Anyways, he was talking about him, and one of the guy that was interviewing Friedkin said, did any executive or anyone show up on set, and what was that like? Because you're over budget, you're shooting all this stuff for real. Are they freaking out that you're doing this real for real? And he said that one time the president of Universal came to the set, and it was during when they were going to explode the tree. And he said that he showed up with like 3 prostitutes, or looked like prostitutes. They showed up on a helicopter, landed, got out. He stood there. He looked around. He's like, all right, good. And then he said the first attempt, the bomb didn't actually go off, and so they didn't get the explosion of the tree when he was there, and he just looked around and said, "All right, I guess you." These are his words. I guess you know what the fuck you're doing. I'm out of here. And he gets on his helicopter with his prostitutes, and they take off. And he said, so they didn't give a flying shit about
that is crazy.
The production. And that scene is incredible too. I mean, they actually blew up a huge stump of a tree. I mean, it's just insane.
That's my favorite scene, honestly. That whole thing, because it makes so much sense to me that they would risk their lives to try to blow this up. Yeah,
I mean, I love too how it's constructed, how it's blocked. I mean, you see exactly how they are planning to blow up this stump, and they take their time showing it.
And
You
it feels
know,
real. I mean, you have a guy that is running back and he falls down and then he gets
yeah,
back up. Like it's not like normal Hollywood where they wouldn't show somebody falling or failing in that natural way.
yeah, and that makes me wonder: was it an accident? And they just kept it in because
Could be.
a lot of times they do
It could
that. They
be.
did that. Um, I mean, some of those mistakes sometimes are great in films. Don't
Yeah.
I always tell people, don't worry if there's a mistake. Well, first of all, I want to know how did you find out about Sorcerer?
Through a friend. I was talking about Roy Scheider to him.
Uh,
This was probably about beginning of COVID,
oh, really?
2020 or something like that. Yeah, pretty recent.
Hmm.
And he's like, "Have you seen Sorcerer?" Because I was talking to him about 52 pickup and French Connection and Jaws. I mean,
Yeah.
I like Roy Scheider a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, "Have you seen Sorcerer?" I was like, "No, you got to see Sorcerer." So the Blu-ray was like $9.99. Picked it up. My dad hadn't seen it either, so I took it over to his place. We watched it, and we were like, "No way!" Like several times, like 'cause
Yeah.
it's like this is ridiculously crazy. Like,
It is. Yeah.
yeah, and it's filmmaking that you don't see anymore, and that's why I love the '70s.
A
I
hundred
really
percent.
think the '70s might be the best era of American cinema.
I agree. 100%. 80s was great for like fantasy
Yeah,
adventure, but the 70s is where it's at. I mean, like again, going back to what William Friedkin said, no one gave a shit back in
yeah.
the 70s. All they cared about is how much cocaine do they have, and you know, getting the booty on.
I mean,
um,
Sorcerer came out in 1977,
it's,
just when Star Wars came out, and Jaws had already been out. So,
from my understanding, it was actually shot between 75 and 76. I think Roy Schreider just came off of Jaws and went to
yeah,
this. In fact, Roy Schreider said in an interview I saw that this was the most exhausting film he's ever acted in, which you can see that in
yeah.
the movie, how exhausted he is. I mean, it looks real, and I think it was what you've seen is his real reactions. To the point where he said he's never going to make an action or adventure movie ever again. And I believe he kept his word at it too. He also said he would never work with William Friedkin again, which is a whole different story.
Yeah.
Because a lot of actors tend to say that. Um, but
There's just this grittiness to them, and it's not afraid to be dirty. It's a dirty movie. The
right,
characters have mud on them, or dirt, grime, sweat. Something that we don't see anymore.
yeah, it's like today. It's like if you don't see the star's face, you have to see the star's face, right? It reminds
Right.
me of Backdraft. I remember when that movie came
Yeah.
out, and everyone was complaining about they don't have masks on while they're in there fighting fires, and I remember Ron Howard, and back when it came out, I clearly remember this. Ron Howard said, "Well, the studio we wanted to put masks on them, but the studio didn't because you couldn't see the stars' faces."
Wow.
And that, I mean, that still holds true even today. They don't want to cover up Tom Cruise's face. It didn't matter because
No.
they wanted realism. They wanted grittiness. Um, just great. Oh yeah, how I found out about it was actually in the late '90s.
Okay.
Um, don't remember when, but it was late '90s, and I saw an interview. Was watching an interview with William Friedkin, and he said, if I remember correctly, he was talking about Sorcerer, and he said that originally he exclaimed originally when it came out that he did not like the movie and he thought it was one of his worst movies of his career. Then he said, I was embarrassed by it. And
Wow.
he said, what I mean by that is I just got off of two major hits, Oscar-nominated,
Yeah.
Oscar-winning hits, Exorcist and The French Connection. He thought this was for sure going to be another Oscar winner.
Yeah.
And then when it failed, he was embarrassed because everybody ridiculed him over it. Because he said, no one likes me in Hollywood because I'm extremely honest in my opinions and I don't have any, BS. So the Hollywood doesn't like him. And so that's why he said he was embarrassed by it. And he said that I did something which I shouldn't have done and agreed that it was a bad movie. He said that then, or at the time of the interview, he came out saying that it is his favorite film that he ever directed. And in this new documentary that's on the Criterion set from 2018, this interview, he says the same thing, that it is his favorite movie that he has directed out of his entire career. Anyways, but that's how I heard about it, was with his interview. And also I heard, I think I read or heard Martin Scorsese talking about it as well. And but at the time, they didn't have it on Blu-ray. It didn't come out on Blu-ray till like early
2014?
2011, 2014, somewhere around there. And so and they did. No one had it. I couldn't find it anywhere. So, and then it was when the Blu-ray came out, I saw it announced, and I'm like, okay, I gotta buy it. I gotta watch it because I'm hearing too much great things about this. Spielberg also gave a glowing, not review, but talked about it glowingly as well.
Yeah.
So that's how I found out about it. And just like you, I was on the edge of my seat, and I was just like, I've never seen a movie like this before, honestly.
Yeah, it's survival, I mean, to the extreme.
Right. And it's not Indiana Jones type of adventure. This is real.
This is super dangerous what they're doing with nitroglycerin, and that thing moves, they're gone.
Which one of the trucks does.
Yeah.
Later on in the movie.
That's a great scene too.
It's so suspenseful from the time they take off until the ending. It's just one nail-biting scene after another, and it's incredible. I'm going back to previously, before we talk about this, I was going to bring up that I actually did not know this at the time until actually more recently, when people were saying that this is a remake of Wages of Fear. And I've never seen the movie. I never saw the movie, but I did pick up this isn't it. I went ahead and picked up the 4K with the Criterion sale. I got it from Amazon. I haven't watched it yet. It's still sealed. But I'm curious. I was really curious about the differences. And I have a good friend that I messaged, and I asked him, he saw both of them. He loves both of them. So I asked him what his thoughts were on the differences. So his name is Matt, and he goes by Metal Matt on Instagram if you want to follow him. But let me just, if you don't mind, I'm going to just say here what he said. So he said, the pros and cons. I like the ending of Sorcerer better. However, the ending of Wages of Fear is also great. I won't elaborate because I don't want to spoil it for you. But both endings are very bleak for our protagonists. I think the relationship between Mario and Joe is stronger in the Wages of Fear than it is in Sorcerer between Jackie and Nilo. Sorcerer has much higher and better stakes, and the desperation and the intensity is much stronger as to why these men are doing what they're doing. And he said, overall, I prefer Sorcerer over Wages of Fear. He also said that in Wages of Fear, you don't get the backstories like you do in Sorcerer. Basically, they're just these guys, and you don't know anything about them. And so he said that he liked that of Sorcerer, that it helped flesh out the characters and their desperation. And he said, but they're both amazing films worth seeing for their own reasons, and they complement each other.
What year did Wages of Fear come out?
50. Well, let me look here. 53.
Okay. And
it's also 30 minutes longer than Sorcerer. So in this documentary, which I highly suggest you... I'm going to
watch it after this.
Definitely watch it. And anyone out there that got the Criterion, it's a must-watch. It's an incredible interview. But Roland Freakin, they talk about that. And he does not consider this a remake at all. He said that he said he hears that all the time, and he completely dismisses it. He said it's like Hamlet. How many versions of Hamlet are there? But is one a remake of the other? No. Right. It's just a different interpretation of William Shakespeare's Hamlet. And he said, so this is how he thinks of Sorcerer. It's just a different interpretation of the novel.
I wonder which one's more close to the novel.
Yeah, I should have asked. Oh, I don't know if he's read it, but
because
that would be interesting.
when the Coen Brothers did True Grit, they did it more towards the novel
Oh
accuracy
yeah,
than the John Wayne one. And that's
yeah.
what popped in my head when you said the adaptations. It's not really a remake; it's a new adaptation.
Let me see if I can look it up here.
You can do the same. You can say the same thing about maybe Spielberg's West Side Story too. It's a different adaptation of the play. Yeah, it's interesting to because Disney does those like shot for shot remakes of their
Yeah.
own stuff, and that's definitely a remake. But it's like Scarface. They've have different adaptations of Scarface. It's interesting that he's phrased it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen Wages of Fear yet, but
Right.
I think I would agree with him. So it says here that Sorcerer and Wages of Fear can be definitely labeled as near perfectly accurate. Both are different adaptations with their unique interpretations, but both are generally a very close adaptation of the novel. So
Cool.
yeah, and so what I love too about this movie is that the story is really a redemption story. I mean, you were talking about the beginning of the movie, and it is weird. It starts out really strange.
Yeah,
Where
it's
they're
almost like a foreign film.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't start off in English. They're in Palestine, I believe, and what are they? Hitman? I wasn't. I've never been exactly clear who they are, but
Yeah,
um,
there's like some sort of gangster activity
ter-
right away.
terrorists. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
terrorists. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like, but that's a lot of people say it was off-putting, but when I first saw it, that's what actually drew me into the movie because I'm like, holy crap, this is incredible that they would start a movie off like this. It's definitely not your typical way of starting a movie.
Right.
Um, so
And then
yeah,
you got the French guy getting the watch from his wife or girlfriend or whatever.
yeah, yeah, and so like I wrote down notes here. So what I wrote down is it's a story redemption from the evils of their past. We follow the untraditional characters. We follow the bad guys instead of heroes. A terrorist, a hitman, a crime guy, and an embezzler. And spoiler alert. Should I give a spoiler alert? Okay, spoilers, everyone. They all bite the dust in the end. So basically, they get what they deserve in the end. Even though Roy
You
Schreider,
think Roy Scheider dies?
oh yeah,
Okay.
100%. I mean, that guy is after to kill him and
Yeah.
said that we will find you wherever you go, and they found him,
Yeah.
and then they walk into the bar at
He's
the end
dancing.
at the
Yep.
end of the film. So yeah, I've always believed that they killed him. Um, so and typically you think that he, what's the word I'm looking for? He's a bad guy, but yet he does this very brave, heroic thing. And then at the end, he goes into the bar and dances with that lady, and everything seems right in the world. And so you think, well, okay, he's redeemed himself for what he did in the past. But then the guy shows up, and obviously he killed him. I don't know if that's how you interpret it.
I mean, he probably did. I don't think it was that simple though. I don't. It definitely says that. It definitely gives that off as the ending. I was just curious.
Yeah, I mean, I always thought that he didn't. Yeah, he did this brave thing, but did he really? But he's still a bad guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he would still do bad things. So I mean, that's the way I interpreted the ending.
Your past comes back to haunt you, kind of thing. So,
exactly. What do you think this movie's really saying? Do you think it's about corporate greed?
there's some of that. You even have the embezzler too, being part of this, which I found interesting. I mean, and they do this thing too, where it's like you feel bad. I don't know. You almost feel for him, and then he's dead. Like they do that. He's like bonding with the guy in the car. He's like, I got this watch, and then boom, they blow up.
Right.
That was great. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, so many scenes like that were unexpected scenes like
Yeah.
that. And
But yeah, there's greed, gangster stuff. I mean,
so,
they're doing this for money too, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's strictly for money.
Yeah.
One thing that, because I never really picked up on this, I've seen this numerous times, a handful of times, and this is the first time I ever actually saw this and picked up on it, about the corporate greed aspect of the movie. To the point where, and I never saw this before, around the beginning when he's talking, when the two corporate guys are talking, after the oil field explodes and they need to close it, there's actually, at the time, Paramount Pictures was owned by Gulf and Western. And there's actually a poster that says Gulf and Western in the background while there's these two corporate guys fighting about losing the money and what they need to do. And so I picked up on that. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, Willem Friedkin's
saying something there.
Saying something about corporate greed, about the industry that he works in, the greed that he works in. Just something that I picked up on yesterday. That I thought was interesting. Is there anything else you picked up on just the third time you watched it that you didn't before?
I don't know. I don't know why. It didn't feel as suspenseful this time. I don't know why. But
how many years has it been since you saw it last? Do you know?
A year.
A year. Well, that's probably why then.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. It's actually been probably close to 10 years since I've seen this again.
Okay. Yeah.
So it was fresher. This time it was a lot fresher in my mind. I mean, because there was a lot of things I forgot about, and yeah, it was still really intense this time around.
I think and people are. I don't know. I've seen some controversial about the restoration. I think it looks great.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of people complaining about maybe the tone is a little too blue or.
One thing that I saw, it was a couple guys on Facebook saying that they tealed it up. Why they tealed it up? I didn't see any teal.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't compare it to the Blu-ray yet. I'm going to, but I didn't see any. It looked great. I thought it looked fantastic. So I didn't see any kind of teal or blue. One thing I did notice is that it looks like they not changed the color, but maybe drew back on some of the bluish tones, because I remember the bridge scene looking bluer than what it does on the 4K, where the 4K looks more natural.
Yeah, I see more green, but they're in a jungle, so that makes sense. You're right. There was sort of this blueness to it on the Blu-ray. I remember too.
Yeah.
And even the cover or I feel like the poster or whatever was kind of bluish too.
Yeah, it was. It was always bluish. I found this little Cisco Neert gave a review about this movie, and this is a good segue into what we're going to talk about next with what hurt this movie, and they talk about it. And they loved the movie. They thought it was one of the best movies of the year. It was actually on their Best of 1977 show. And I just thought I would just play a real quick clip of it. And let's see if we agree with them. Here we go.
All right.
Gene, I still can't believe that the epic adventure Sorcerer was so completely overlooked. Now, here was a large-scale, big-budget action picture, lots of fun. It starred Academy Award nominee Roy Scheider. It was made by Academy Award winner William Friedkin, the director of The Exorcist and The French Connection. And this movie died a quick death at the box office. The scene we have here is maybe the most astonishing scene in the whole film. It's a combination of desperation, suspense, and great special effects as Roy Scheider and his partners try to maneuver a giant truck filled with nitroglycerin through a hazardous jungle and across a suspension bridge. Sort of a tricky situation. We talked about the special effects. That last shot had some special effects in it, at least 3. The guy in the foreground is really there. The truck in the background is a real big model, and then the rain is kind of laid on top of it. So this movie really does have great special effects, but it didn't help it. You can see there that The Sorcerer is on a level way above most action pictures. The movie was a labor of love for director William Friedkin. He wanted to show human behavior at its extremes, men determined to complete a life-or-death mission against all odds and discovering their own limits at the same time. The jungle scenes, the rain and flood, the fire and catastrophe, are among the most exciting movie scenes I've ever seen, but for some reason, the studio opened this movie with a lousy advertising campaign at the last minute. They had no faith in the picture's future. They pulled it out of the lousy theaters they got it into after a few weeks. Sorcerer certainly qualifies as one of the great lost films of the 1970s.
You're right about that. I don't share your enthusiasm for the film. I talked to the director, Bill Friedkin, about it. The thing that he thinks is wrong is what I think is wrong. And the characters seem to me to be a little cold. We notice the special effects, they're so powerful, more than the people in the truck. So we're more worried about the truck than the people. That aside, I still share your amazement. This was a very expensive film, $24 million to make. I'm amazed that it was just dispatched.
So you didn't like it. A lot of people didn't like the picture, but a $20 million picture has to make $45 or $50 million to break even. This one didn't come anywhere close to that. It probably, if it made $5 million, it was lucky. You'd think it could make more than that. Just by opening in the first week, people stumbling into the wrong theater looking for Bruce Lee should have made more than that. But the studio simply rejected it. They didn't support it. They didn't tell people it was coming. They didn't care about it.
You had the answer there when you said the studio.
Right.
This picture actually was made by two studios, Paramount Pictures and Universal Pictures. What happened is, I think each studio thought the other guy was going to handle it. Nobody cared enough about it as a sole project of their own. It was dropped in between them.
Okay, so what do people do when a picture like this comes out? How do they know it's good, in my opinion, or if it's bad in your opinion? How do they know about it before the picture closes?
Well, in this case, they had to find it out on their own, because what happened is, here was a picture that also had a very bad title. It was called Sorcerer. Now, Bill Friedkin had made a picture called The Exorcist. Sorcerer sounds like it's another Exorcist pictures. Well, there had been so many Exorcist films right after The Exorcist that when this guy came out, people were, one, fed up with it, or two, they went hopeful that it was another exorcism kind of film. They got there and they saw somebody in a truck. They said, "Where's the devil?" So this film was confusing for that reason. What people should do in something like this is, well, they better read your newspaper.
Read the critics, right?
Real quick.
Yeah. So. Yeah, so that I agree. I agree with what they said. I mean, this again. I think I don't know why the studio didn't have faith in it. That seems a little odd to me, coming from William Friedkin. But regardless, it was a big bomb. I think it only grossed like $3 million. But what do you think of when Cisco said that the characters were too cold?
I think he means there just wasn't enough development for us to really care about them. You know, they had the embezzler was the one that we probably. I mean, Schneider does lose all his gang members in that crash. But other than that, I don't think they really developed the other two as well as they could have. But the name, I think the name was a big one. I don't know if the trailer was great, if it was a last-minute advertising campaign. People don't know about it.
I think that's probably the most bigger reason why it failed was the like. Whenever I say, "Have you ever seen Sorcerer?" What's the immediate? I mean, what was the immediate thought you had when your friend told you the name Sorcerer?
Wizards.
Right. Wizards. You're not thinking anything else.
No.
I think that hurt the name. Plus, the name of the truck, Sorcerer, was the second truck. It wasn't even the truck Roy Schneider was driving.
Yeah, it's the one that blows up.
Which is kind of odd that they would name. I guess he liked the movie Sorcerer, or the name Sorcerer. What's funny is that in the documentary, they bring out that the original title was actually William Friedkin's Dynamite. That was the original title, and then he changed it to Sorcerer. I don't know if the title Dynamite would have helped it any. Maybe
you should have done Wages of Fear again. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, so the name definitely hurt it, but I think what also hurt it the most, two other things I think also hurt it most, is that there was Star Wars that came out that year.
Yeah.
Before that, it was Jaws, which people claim was the first blockbuster, invented the blockbuster. So I think that what's happening is that this came out at the end of the 70s.
Action was
sense.
becoming more mainstream and over the top.
Like Jaws,
Yeah.
and then you had Star Wars, which was, of course, sci-fi, fantasy,
Right.
adventure.
Right.
So I think that hurt the movie too. Is that I honestly think that people started getting tired of seeing these French Connection, Martin Scorsese,
These downers.
yeah, these dark downer movies, Taxi Driver type movies.
Yeah, after Rocky came out, because that was like one of the rare uplifting movies,
Mhm.
and I think that kind of turned the tide a little bit too. And then
That came
Yeah.
out in '76, right?
76, yeah, you had
Yeah.
Jaws, Rocky, and then
And
Star
Star
Wars.
Wars. Yeah.
Mm.
So, and then I think the last movie that actually ended it was Apocalypse Now. Was kind of like the last, movie of the '70s.
Yeah,
So I think that hurt it, but I also think that what hurt it was the rating, because it was PG. And so you got this title Sorcerer from the director of The Exorcist, and it's PG.
Bring the kids.
Yeah, is this a Lord of the Rings type movie? You know? So I think the rating hurt it too, because I honestly never picked up on this before. There was 2 F words in the movie that you can hear, which makes sense. We talked about this before. You said yourself that you'd probably be cussing.
I would totally be. I would probably
yeah.
die too. I mean, there's no way I would survive.
Don't put yourself down. No, but
There's no way I would carry an explosive chemical to blow a tree up. I think I'd just be like, guys, I'm done.
I would end up tripping and blow myself up.
I'm out.
Like the guy that runs with a gun and he trips and shoots himself through the.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, because nitroglycerin is extremely unstable. I mean, and they talk about it in the movie. And then I noticed this for the first time where you can tell that they said the F word, but they dubbed it something else in. I forget what character it was, but he says, F you and the horse you rode in on. But in the movie, he says, couldn't understand what he said, but he says something else instead of F you. He says something else and the horse you rode in on. And there was 2 other scenes that I noticed that the F word was dubbed out. So, I mean, I can't confirm this, but I'm just thinking that maybe the studio, because they didn't have faith in it, they thought, well, if this was PG, I mean, it would make more money. And so they dubbed out the F words.
Yeah.
But I was also really surprised about how violent this movie is. I mean, it does not shy away from the violence. I mean,
I assumed it was R-rated, to be honest.
when I first saw it, I thought it was R-rated, and I'm like, PG? Seriously? I mean, just the burn victims alone is graphic. After the oil field explodes, and then there's, I mean, not shy of showing blood, and the blood doesn't look like red paint. It looks pretty realistic. I think that if they would have stuck with an R rating, I think it would have done better, because more adults would have seen it. So I think it was just a combination of all those different things that hurt the movie.
It sounds like the studios kind of discarded it, or like Cisco said, they didn't really. One of them thought the other one would take care of it, and the other one thought the other one would take care of it, so it kind of got just pushed away.
Another movie that almost had that issue too was Titanic, because it was split between 20th Century Fox and Paramount, and I remember James Cameron, it was either a commentary interview or something, but I remember him saying that at the last minute, I found out that who's going to distribute the movie in the domestically and internationally, and neither studio was communicating with each other.
Wow.
And so he resolved that quickly.
And
so
if the studio had shown up on set in Sorcerer with the prostitutes, you're in trouble.
Right. And probably cocaine, lots of cocaine too.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think it was all that just combined together just really hurt the movie, unfortunately. Um, because I mean, when you watch this movie, you're thinking this didn't win any awards. I was nominated for just one Academy Award, and that was for Best Sound. It didn't win. It was nominated. That went to Star Wars. I mean, Star Wars won all the technical awards.
Right.
But even like I said, even with all that set aside, I think that if it was still rated R, I think it would have fared better. Um, and the ending, when he's driving through I guess what is it, a canyon, quarry, whatever it is, it gets really surreal too.
It starts hallucinating. I think that's like exhaustion, right? Or just
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, because, and I've heard a lot of people complain about that. It's like out of nowhere, it gets really weird and surreal, and he's like talking to himself and hallucinating, and it's not a movie that's going to spoon feed you things.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it made sense, and I thought it really worked well.
Yeah.
For the
So-
suspense, because we're not sure how they're going to get there, and he literally carries it home. That's crazy.
I know, that was crazy. But yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's not a movie that's going to spoon feed you. Roy Schneider isn't going to say, "Oh, I'm hallucinating," you know. That's not real life. But the ending, like what you're saying, where he has no choice but to carry the boxes of dynamite
Yeah.
to the oil field, and then he collapses out of exhaustion at the end. It's just insane.
The movie also has a good score, Tangerine Dream.
I always say this is a talent of a director. If he knows how to use music, and this is a perfect example of that. He knew when to use music and when not to use music. And I can't. I don't think that like the bridge scene would have been as suspenseful if it had suspenseful music to it.
It wouldn't have aged well.
Yeah, that too, especially with the synth score. But yeah, I mean that is a, I've seen some filmmakers where it's like they think they have to use music through the entire movie because I want that person to know how to feel,
Right.
and it's really a cheat. And if you can't get that emotion from the audience without using music, then you're not a good director, plain and simple. Because that's the job as a director. But so like he didn't use music during the bridge scene. All the suspenseful scenes he didn't. Actually, I don't think there was even music at all during their trek through the jungle.
No, not much.
And it was really
Just great sound design,
great,
which adds to the
incredible.
realism.
What's interesting too, going back to this interview with William Friedkin, they talked about the sound design, and they talked about how he actually used animal sounds. And he said, so like the scene on the bridge, they used a mix of a lion roar and some other sound effects from animals, and then they tweaked it to make it more suspenseful. Just real briefly, what they had is they had a track underneath the bridge. So it was a real bridge in the middle of a real jungle with a real rainstorm. They didn't have water towers. It was actually a rainstorm. And they had a track underneath the bridge to keep the cars moving, or the trucks moving.
And by the way, it was shot on film, not digital, guys.
Right.
Throw that in the elements, it's crazy.
Oh, it's insane. And Will Friedkin said that the trucks kept tipping over when they weren't supposed to. It was a nightmare.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Filming that scene, and you can see it on the screen. It was a nightmare filming that scene.
It had to have been an adventure, for better or worse, to make this movie. A labor of you're kind of like the movie. You're surviving a film shoot too.
Oh yeah. Also, the original DP was fired because he didn't know how to light the jungle, and I never thought about that before. Lighting a jungle can be insanely hard, and so he said that he went and hired a documentary cinematographer, and you can kind of sense that the switch from, because like you said at the beginning of the video, it feels like a documentary.
It feels real.
Mm-hmm. But I can't get. Oh man, William Friedkin and Clint Eastwood are some of the most brutally honest filmmakers you'll ever see, and it's been to their detriment, but it's also been why they make movies so good. Because you kind of have to have that attitude. Like, oh, one thing I thought it was interesting. Tarantino gave a little interview in it, and he said that he only has one flaw with this movie, and that it was casting Roy Scheider. He said that he felt like that the movie needed bigger shoulders, and he said that he thinks that Robert Blake would have been the perfect choice. And I think he said that on his podcast too. And then William Friedkin said that they actually had Steve McQueen cast.
Ooh.
And I think Steve McQueen would have been incredible in that film.
That would have been that might have been a hit then.
It would have been a hit if Steve McQueen was
Yeah.
in it. And then he said, but then he looked at what was all involved, and he's like, screw this, I'm not going to do this. Which also makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, but I don't know. I like Roy Scheider in this as well, too. I mean, he's great in this movie.
He is.
And so we already talked a little bit about our favorite scenes. Of course, the bridge. I think that is the most memorable scene of the whole movie. It's not my favorite scene, but it is the most memorable scene. I mean, they even have it on the posters, on the artwork.
Yeah. My favorite is definitely the tree explosion. And then I love the moment too where the embezzler and the other guy get blown up after bonding. I think that's just it's an original scene. Like, you're setting up emotion with the audience, and then you're taking it away instantly with the explosion.
Yeah. Yeah. I love the scene when they're testing out the drivers.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty funny because you have, it's like some people don't even know how to drive. The one guy, he's going in reverse instead of forward.
Everybody just wants that money.
Yeah. So I love that scene as well. It's pretty funny. And then I love when they're repairing the trucks. And
oh yeah.
They're going through each truck and
again, the grittiness of it too. It's just like you see the car parts have oil and dirt on them, and it's crazy they're building these trucks for survival.
Right, and Roy Scheider is looking to see which truck is going to handle the best.
Yeah.
And then, of course, loading the nitroglycerin when they talk about how unstable the nitroglycerin is. But it's just going back to the weirdness of the movie. It is a weird movie. Structurally, it's like we said, doesn't start out like your typical film. And then the ending gets really surreal, and it's just. But to me, that's kind of what pulled me in. Like I said, it really pulled me in because of how oddly it's structured. And it's like when I first saw it, I'm like, oh, I want to see where this goes. And you're not expecting the very opening scene to be in Palestine with a shootout.
Did I put the right movie in? Is this the right movie?
That's what I literally thought when I first saw this movie for the very first time. I literally thought that. Are we watching the right movie?
Yeah.
Because it does not seem like it's the movie. But there's so much driving scenes, and it's just incredibly suspenseful with it. I mean, because they show during the driving, they keep showing shots reminding you that there's 3 boxes of nitroglycerin in the back while they're going over this rocky jungle road.
There's a part where they stop and it slides a little bit.
Yeah, and that was suspenseful. I'm like, oh no. I like it too when, the guy, I believe he was the hitman, the guy in white that killed the other driver because he wanted to go and he wanted the money.
Oh,
that was crazy.
That was a good scene too. That was a great scene too. Yeah.
And when that scene happens, you're like, what? Where did this come from? But then you realize, he killed this other driver because he wanted the money and he wanted to go.
Himself.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a great film. Highly, highly recommend it.
If you guys haven't seen Sorcerer, I definitely recommend it. I recommend you watch it with somebody too, because I think it's fun to watch with somebody and feel that suspense together.
Oh yeah, for sure. Is this okay? Yeah, it is 5.1. I was just saying if they kept The mono tracker is 5.1. Yeah, the 5.1 sound was incredible too with the sound design.
Yeah.
I mean the bridge scene alone. I turned up my receiver, my home theater, and it was incredible. It's just
The
all around you.
crunches and all that, all the noises of
Immersive.
the vehicle, and
I wanted to show this because this actually came with a letter from William Friedkin,
hey,
which is pretty cool. I'm going to take a picture and show close so we can have a close up and people can see it. But basically, he just talks about the film, the making of the film, and that he's so happy that 25, 30 years later, this has become relevant. Recognized. Yeah, recognized is what I was going to say. But yeah, before we give our score, is there anything else you wanted to bring out?
No, I think we said it all. I mean, I think this is definitely a William Friedkin movie, and I really enjoy it. It is, really is. I mean, it's the realism, the passion behind it, the not giving an F.
Right.
You can feel that too. All of this, and you put in your cast and crew. I mean, think about the crew of this too. I mean,
it's brutal.
It must have been an adventure.
There's no wonder no one wanted to work with him after this movie. I mean, I probably wouldn't blame him either. I mean, they bring that in the documentary too, that the crew members were quitting left and right.
Yeah.
I mean, which I don't blame them at all. And I always forget to put this up, so I'm putting it up now.
Oh.
I always forget to put that up. But yeah, I'm gonna give my rating. I'm gonna give this. Obviously, I'm gonna give it a
Shocker.
5 out of 5.
Knocker.
Knocker or shocker?
Shocker.
It's a knocker. 5 out of 5. I think this is just a great film. Like I said, top of this video, it's my favorite William Friedkin movie. It's a freaking good movie, and I think it's one of my favorites of the '70s. Yeah. What did you think? What's your score?
It's a 4 out of 5 for me.
So what didn't you like about it?
I'm kind of with Cisco in the beginning. I don't know if some of that's necessary. I mean, I don't know. Once you get into the jungle and all that, after that first 30 minutes, I think it really flies and works really well on its own. Like, I don't necessarily know if they needed that long intro.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with that.
But it's got some cool stuff with like the mafia and the hitmen and embezzlement, and it's interesting how it's edited together. It's really unique.
Yeah. Do you think it could have worked without showing get rid of the Palestine thing and just show Roy Scheider and why he needs to flee?
They could have built it that way with one character, and then
and then you find out later maybe what these people were.
They could have done that. But.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I definitely see that point. But yeah, it's
other than that, it's incredible. I mean,
incredible. Absolutely incredible. And you watch this today and you're thinking, how the hell did they do this? I mean, no CG.
Right?
None. No CG. Again, like you said, it wasn't on sound stages. It was shot in the jungle.
And that's why it holds up.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, if they hadn't had this sort of realism mentality, I don't think it would hold up.
Yeah. So before we wrap this up, this is what I wanted to show you with Roy Scheider. And I found this out. First of all, let me just ask you a question. Who does he look like? Any resemblance to another character, perhaps?
Indiana Jones?
Yeah. I was watching the scene, and I'm like, he could have played Indiana Jones. And then I did some research. And Steven Spielberg, before Tom Selleck, originally wanted to cast Roy Scheider, working with him on Jaws, and then seeing him in Sorcerer. He originally wanted Roy Scheider as Indiana Jones.
Wow.
I mean, I think he would have been great as Indiana Jones. He does have good humor. He has charisma. I mean, now I don't think that anyone could replace Harrison Ford.
No.
But he definitely.
But then you saw Star Wars, right?
Right. All right, guys. Well, let us know in the comments section if you've seen Sorcerer, what your thoughts on the movie are. I want to know if you agree on our opinion or if you just thought it was a snore and didn't really care for it. Let us know in the comment section, and also let us know if there's a movie you want us to discuss on season 3 of our show, because season 2 is almost wrapped up.
Join us next Friday for another movie.
I'm going to go ahead and tease it.
My pick, which is Sinners.
Sinners. So we're going to be doing that next Friday, and this is one that I have not seen. I did not get to see in the theater, so this is going to be a fresh new take on my end of Sinners. Can't wait to check it out and talk about it. All right, guys. We'll see you next time on Two Guys and a Movie next Friday.
Yep.
And we'll see you.
Peace.